I Surf Tribe, one take, let's go. So this is my old board. I'm back on it. The Resonate board is in the shop. I got a big ding on it. It fell out of my surf rack. So this is my yard, and my landscaper asked me if he could plant a bunch of corn, and then he'd give me some of the take. And I said, hell yeah, I got the space right there. Can you do it, really? Boom, 3 months later, we got a cornfield in my backyard. Here's a neighbor's construction crew. I just thought I'd show the motos because all the construction workers drive motos, if anybody's curious. There it is. And we are coming close to the end of the rainy season, and this is typical walk down to the beach. These, during the rainy season, there's mud puddles everywhere. A lot of times I walk barefoot. In this case, I'm wearing slippers, and actually I was wearing my good slippers. Normally I have these old slippers. And then my favorite walk is in the jungle, a little mud pit here. Gonna have to jump over that. Hup, there we go, and onward to the beach. So in this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit about going back to my old board, which is a thruster. You saw the dimensions a little bit earlier. I've been surfing the quad fin for such a long time that I'm excited to get back on this. Checking the waves, I always do that. Sit on a log, check the waves. Nice sunny day. See all that driftwood? That's from the rainy season. And if you notice, the water is coming almost all the way up to the trees. It is peak high tide right now. Little swell in town coming. It's building. It's probably gonna be bigger tomorrow and the next day. But pretty excited because I looked out and there was pretty much nobody in the water because it's early, meaning after lunch. Early as in middle of the day before second session. People tend to surf in the morning and then right before sunset. I like to surf a few hours before sunset because I get it by myself. So there's the board, hopping on it. You saw the dimensions. It's a 6'2". It's a polyurethane resin, so it's got a lot less volume, but it's fun. It's a thruster, and actually when I got out, I was actually kind of had some fun on it. It took me a little while to get used to it, but I think it's a good idea to hop on as many boards as you can, and you definitely have to have a backup board. So this is my backup board, and coming in very handy right now. See, there's one person in the water, and a few other people start paddle out around that time. I did kick the session off. As you can see, those are a couple girls in the water. Those are my neighbors. Waves weren't too big, so intermediate surfers were out there, but there was literally only 4 people out there. And right away, I was just like, oh man, it feels good to be back on a thruster. Just the way you do a cutback and the way you can kick a bottom turn. I have no idea what I was doing there. It's just such a different feel on the bottom turn. So it kind of made me think that maybe I want to get a new board shaped by Andy, but more of a thruster shape, because it is more maneuverable and you can pivot off the bottom and go, you can do like a straight up turn much easier. So yeah, this is my backup board, and I haven't surfed it in a long time, probably like 3 or 4 months, 4 months maybe. And current weight around 223 maybe, so not too bad. I'd prefer to be around 210 on this board, but still seem to work pretty good. And yeah, so I recommend, everybody has a backup board, and a backup board that you like. Oh yeah, here's a wave. I was going to try to get a film behind her, but then I was too far back, and I figured, you know what, I'll just let her have that wave, and I will go get my own. And like I said, as I get older, I'm not so much about catching as many waves. I really just enjoy being in the water, and I don't mind letting people just take waves or surfing behind them so I can film. I did that actually the next day, which I'll show in the next video with Jesus. I got some cool shots from behind. But a little slow-mo shot so you can see as they are kind of beginner intermediate, so they don't know how to turtle or duck dive their bigger boards, so they tend to throw their board, and I'm trying to get them to learn to turtle roll or to learn to duck dive a smaller surfboard. But those are pretty small girls with pretty big surfboards, so they can't duck dive them. So they just basically go underneath the water, and the only problem with that is your leash could break, and then you're swimming. But as you can see, I caught a lot of waves, and I was having a lot of fun. In this particular session, it almost looks like the waves were they look better than they actually were. There was actually quite a bit of current, and it was hard to kind of find the peak. But here, just the way the GoPro is so kind of misleading. So many waves. Like for example, this wave is much bigger than it looks on the GoPro. But on GoPro, it looks like it's a 1 foot wave. But in reality, it started off as probably like a 3 to 4 foot wave. But the GoPro definitely makes things look smaller, especially depending on how you're holding it. since I'm holding it in my mouth as a mouth mount, you know, and I'm standing pretty tall, it's going to make the wave look a lot smaller. But yeah, this was one of my, I think, best waves that I got a lot of maneuvers on. And it was fun to basically be able to whip the thruster, kind of like a narrower tail, whip it around. A little bit of a sunset as the session ended, and I always like to stop, check the sunset out. I love surfing all the way through till sunset and then just watch the sunset. I don't even care about catching a wave. As you can see, I'm out a little bit further, so there's like no sets. It almost looks like it's completely flat, but that's how it is in between sets. Yeah, just wanted to get a little bit of sunset, take you guys one more time on a journey with me, show you a little bit more, you know, storytelling, a little bit about the neighborhood, house, that kind of a thing. I believe this is the last wave of the day that I took. As you can see, it's starting to get kind of dark. The sun pretty much was setting right there, and right now it gets dark like 10 minutes after, 15 minutes after sunset. It gets really dark, and I have to walk through the jungle. And if I wait an extra 15 minutes, it's like pitch black walking through the jungle. So not too bad for a guy, but for girls, I always tell them, like, you know, don't surf too late unless, or wait for me, or wait for a guy, and we'll walk you through the jungle just to be safe. There's another person coming in, last wave of the day. You know, this is one of my favorite things, is just lying on my belly, catching the last wave, and just kind of reflecting as I just basically just kind of ride the whitewater all the way to the shore, and then head home, get ready to make an awesome Costa Rican dinner, and basically rinse and repeat, do it the next day. I tend to work during the daytime, and then I like to surf in the middle of the day to sunset. So that's a wrap. Thanks again, and hope you guys enjoyed, and tell me what you guys want to see. Pura vida and aloha until the next video.